Honorable members, we cannot even hear the mover. Kindly let us be orderly. Member for Molo, can you move again?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 120, that this House resolves to reduce the publication period for the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024 from 7 to 4 days. Honorable Speaker, the essence of this provision of reducing the publication period from 7 to 4 days is to give enough room for public participation. There are a lot of measures that the Finance Bill of 2024 has proposed, and it's very important that we give a robust time, to give sufficient time for Kenyans to participate in bringing us their views, and that's why we propose this reduction in the publication period. Because in addition, Honorable Speaker, the import of this is also we may have to have a special sitting on Friday if we don't reduce this publication period, and we don't really need to do that. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to request Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oudo, the MP for Funyula, to second.
Order. Order, members.
Procedural motion.
Member for Felicia, you're being disorderly. Take your seat. Honorable Makila, take your seat. So that you can hear Honorable Oudo. Second the motion. Honorable Oudo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the procedural motion, specifically the procedural motion to reduce the publication period. We have always had a challenge in this country, Honorable Speaker, that such an important bill like the Finance Bill is never given adequate time to be subjected to public participation. On the account that they are seeking to reduction of the publication period so that they give adequate time for public participation, Honorable Speaker, on that account I support. But as I support, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee and I want to urge the members who will sit in the committee that public participation, Honorable Speaker, should not be an exercise in futility, should not be an exercise in vanity, but the comments, the views of the people of Kenya must be taken into account when preparing the final report. Honorable Speaker, if that doesn't happen, then the process of public participation is going to become a farce. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the reduction of the publication period.
Honorable members, I therefore, Honorable Modoni, take your seat. Honorable Kagiri, take your seat. Honorable members, I therefore propose the motion that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill, number 30 of 2024, from 7 days to 4 days. Is that the mood of the House? I therefore put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024, from 7 days to 4 days. Are as many as are of that opinion say aye? As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the law relating to various taxes and duties and for matters incidental thereto. Order number 10, motion, consideration of Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024.
Chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on motion 10, that is the consideration of Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, that is National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, and the consultations are too high.
Take your seat. Member for Sirisia, this is the third term. Take your seat. Let us hear the chair.
Take your seats. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, and I beg the members can afford some few minutes so that we are able to understand each other. Honorable Speaker, whereas it is obligatory for me to move this motion, Honorable Speaker, I also rise actually to reject the motion, Honorable Speaker, based on several things and reasons that I'll be giving to the members in this House. Honorable Speaker, I can barely actually also hear myself.
Let me try assist you. No, now you can hear you. You can hear you. Go on.
Honorable Speaker and members, the motion before us is very important. And as I said before, as the chairperson of Budget and Appropriations Committee, whereas it is obligatory for me to bring forth this motion, Honorable Speaker, I actually rise to reject the amendments by the Senate for several reasons, Honorable Speaker, that I would wish that members understand and also to communicate clearly on those issues, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Budget and Appropriations Committee set actually over this recess, and Honorable Speaker, even in our report that I am sure members already have, we have decided to reject the amendments by the Senate, Honorable Speaker, for the following reasons. But before I go to the reasons, I want to make it very categorical and clear for Kenyans and to Kenyans that the National Assembly, the Budget and Appropriations Committee, we 100% support devolution. And Honorable Speaker, we support when resources go to our various counties, because even our governors are trying to do their best in terms of adjudicating and appropriating the monies that we appropriate in this House, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, on the onset, it is important for us to understand that the Budget Committee and this National Assembly, we fully and unequivocally support devolution, and that is why year in, year out, we actually continue to increase the amount of money that we horizontally push to our counties, Honorable Speaker, based on the bill that is before us today. But Honorable Speaker, even as we support our county governments and our governors to do their role, Honorable Speaker, insofar as governing and leading our county governments is concerned, Honorable Speaker, our country and also our devolved governments, Honorable Speaker, we operate on a fixed envelope and an envelope that is quite thin, Honorable Speaker. Just for us to be on the same page, the bill before us, Honorable Speaker, and I was conversing with Honorable Mukoji about it just a few minutes ago. The bill before us is the bill that actually, Honorable Speaker, shares our national cake vertically, Honorable Speaker. Vertically to say, this bill, Honorable Speaker, allocates a block figure that goes as shareable share, Honorable Speaker, equitable share to our counties. And then thereafter, Honorable Speaker, the formula that is made by the Commission for Revenue Allocation, then that money is shared horizontally among the 47 counties. But before us today is basically about vertical share, Honorable Speaker, and shareable revenue to our counties, Honorable Speaker. The rest will be ensuing later. Honorable Speaker, why are we rejecting this motion, Honorable Speaker, and the amendments by the Senate? Honorable Speaker, this House previously passed the same division of revenue bill, Honorable Speaker. But as it should be, then it proceeded to the Senate. Honorable Speaker, when it proceeds to the Senate, in case Senate agreed with this House, Honorable Speaker, then this bill would have gone to the next stage. But Honorable Speaker, as it is procedurally, when there are amendments by the Senate, and then they push back the bill to this House, if this House agrees with the bill, then the bill continues carrying the amendments of the Senate. But Honorable Speaker, when this House rejects, as we are going to do this afternoon, then Honorable Speaker will have to go through a mediation process between this House and the Senate so that we can have a common ground on this matter, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as we reject this bill, it is thus an opportunity we are requesting from this House that they give us an opportunity to proceed to mediation between this House and the Senate so that we can get a middle ground. Honorable Speaker, what are the facts around it? Honorable Speaker, in the budget policy statement that we passed earlier this year, Honorable Speaker, we were working with a budget then of around 4.18 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, after the passage of the BPS, we have had to relook at our budget, and Honorable Speaker, we have actually been able to slash close to Kenya shillings 270 billion, and therefore the budget we are dealing with now is a budget of around 3.913 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, when we appropriated or when we set the ceilings in the budget policy statement, the shareable revenue or the share, the equitable share that we had provided to our counties was approximately 391 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, and this is what I would implore upon my colleagues even to get this point. Whereas we appropriated or we set a ceiling of 391 billion Kenya shillings, when our budget then was 4.18 trillion, even after we slashed the expenditure by the national government by 270 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, we have still gone ahead, Honorable Speaker, to let the figure of 391 persist in the current budget of consideration. And therefore we have not affected the equitable share that we actually passed in the budget policy statement, even after we had slashed all the other departments. But Honorable Speaker, when this bill proceeded to the Senate, then the Senate, in their wisdom, thought it is proper that we consider a different figure. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, whereas this House is dealing with a figure of 391 billion, our colleagues in the Senate, Honorable Speaker, have proposed in the current motion that we are debating today a figure of 415 billion Kenya shillings as equitable share, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there is a gap of Kenya shillings 24.8 billion Kenya shillings. These are the ramifications, Honorable Speaker. We are currently dealing with a deficit to GDP ratio of 2.9%, which is actually, Honorable Speaker, a very modest and a very considerate deficit. In fact, in the region, Honorable Speaker, Kenya is the one operating on the lowest deficit to GDP ratio in terms of the estimates that we'll be debating later on in this House. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, so to say, we want to cap our deficit at 2.9%. And therefore, our budget is inelastic. Whatever amount of money we may want to add to our counties, over and above the 391 billion Kenya shillings, a certain vote has to give way. Because, Honorable Speaker, we are not dealing with an open envelope.
Honorable members on my right, the consultations are too loud. Honorable Nyakundi, Honorable Karido, take your seats. Honorable Meli, we need to hear the chair. Honorable Gashagwa, break the Kamukunji, take your seat. The members on my right, kindly maintain order. Continue, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a deficit to GDP ratio of 2.9%, which is the right trajectory for our economy, Honorable Speaker. it is already giving the right signals in our markets. That is why we see even the cost of borrowing is actually coming down domestically and externally. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is for the interest of this House and our country that even as we make the current budget, which the current division of revenue bill is a component of, that we have this in mind, Honorable Speaker, that it is proper that we know that the estimates we'll be considering are not inelastic. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a closed envelope. And therefore, if, Honorable Speaker, we were to consider a figure higher than the 391 billion Kenya shillings already set in the ceiling at the budget policy statement, Honorable Speaker, therefore, certain votes and certain expenditure lines have to give way. And Honorable Speaker, it is important for this House to also know some of the considerations that are on the table. If we need to add the shareable revenue from 391 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, the first proposal is that we slash the RMLF that is going to our counties by 10 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. And that is the reason why the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected the report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the second consideration for us to bridge the gap of the 24 billion is for us to slash NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, from the current proposed figure, Honorable Speaker, and we slash NGCDF by 10 billion Kenya shillings to go into the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker. If the wisdom of this House is to agree with the Senate, then we'll have no choice than to slash Kenya shillings 10 billion at the RMLF to go to the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker. And that is one of the reasons why, the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected. Honorable Speaker, secondly, if you are to agree with the current amendments by the Senate, we may have to slash Kenya shillings 10 billion from NGCDF to go to the shareable revenue. And Honorable Speaker, that is the second reason that the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected those proposals by the Senate, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, I request this House to agree with the Budget and Appropriations Committee. We reject, Honorable Speaker, the proposed amendment by the Senate so that we proceed to the mediation so that we are able to safeguard critical areas which we have already ring-fenced, Honorable Speaker, like RMLF, like NGCDF, which we have already done already. So by this House agreeing for us to reject, we will be saying this, Honorable Speaker, that Kenya shillings 10 billion goes back to the Constituency Roads Committee in our constituencies. By rejecting, Honorable Speaker, we will be saying no to cuts on NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, because NGCDF, or Honorable Speaker, the proposals we are already in the process of doing, Honorable Speaker, and it will be injurious to NGCDF committees across the country, Honorable Speaker, if we agree with the current amendments. Honorable Speaker, I now request the very able Vice Chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, the Honorable Mary Amase, to second in rejection of these amendments.
Reject. Honorable Amase, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker,
Honorable Amase, other members, let us be orderly. Honorable Kawanjiko, wind up that meeting. Honorable Amase, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for protecting me. Madam Speaker, from the onset, I arise to second the rejection of the proposed amendment bill by the Senate, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024. As already alluded by the chair, the discussion is about the variance. National Assembly proposed the 391 billion and the Senate is proposing 415. The issue is that 10 billion difference has got to come from somewhere. Some vote has got to give way. And members, you've already heard the proposals on the table that this money may have to come from the RMLF or probably from the NGCDF. That money has got to come from somewhere if we have to top up this amount to the figure that's being proposed by the Senate. We all understand the state of the economy. We are operating within boundaries set by the BPS. So we cannot accept this proposal. So honorable members, our advice of the Budget Committee is that we reject the proposed amendments. I second, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I therefore propose the question that the Senate amendment to the Division of Revenue, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to agree with the Committee on Budget and Appropriations. Honorable Speaker, it's important that as we make decisions, we are aware that someone once told us that all choices, Honorable Speaker, have consequences. If, Honorable Speaker, we were to agree with the Senate this afternoon, what the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee and his committee are telling us is that in budget making, when you give something, something else must give in. Honorable Speaker, you know the problem we have had with many of our governors with the road maintenance, road fuel levy for road maintenance. Honorable Speaker, you know the spirited effort they have been asking for 10 billion shillings out of the funds that you are receiving in your constituencies for road maintenance. Then the Budget Committee, if we are to agree with the Senate amendments, the Budget Committee will have nothing else to give other than to give in. And you sacrifice your Kera roads maintenance funds to your governors, assuming that they are going to build the same roads that you build. To Honorable Speaker, the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee has spoken to the issue of NGCDF. Honorable Speaker, you know the challenges we've had with the NGCDF and the opportunities. And at the time that we have celebrated 20 years of the existence of NGCDF, Kenyans across the country can tell you this is the only tangible money they feel on the ground in terms of projects and even in terms of the monies that we are giving to students for bursaries, Honorable Speaker, including the money for our women reps. The great ladies that we have as women reps across our 47 counties, Honorable Speaker, are doing a far much more commendable job than many governors, Honorable Speaker. The GAF money, you can see what GAF money is doing in every county in this country, Honorable Speaker. Our women leaders, Honorable Speaker, that is why, at the risk of stepping on our my male colleagues' friends,
Honorable members, women members, it's totally out of order to shout in the House. You know how you can do what you're doing, but don't shout. Honorable Ichungwah.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying, at the risk of being lynched by many male governors and prospective governors, I have proposed that if I had the ability to alter part of our constitution, I would propose that our women leaders even have the governor position as an affirmative action seat, because they are good in managing funds, Honorable Speaker. And I don't say this, Honorable Speaker, because I'm a father to girls. I have seen, as I grew up, my own mother taking care of the pennies, knowing that when you take care of the pennies, the pounds will take care of themselves. And I believe many women leaders in this country have that belief, that if you take care of the small money they have, these women leaders under GAF have very little, I think about 7 or 8 million shillings per county, but you can see the effect of that money on the ground. How then do we allow those amendments that are coming to take away money from GAF to give it to governors? It will be injustice not to the women leaders, but to the people of Kenya who are depending on their mothers and their sisters in GAF to take care of them in terms of bursaries and social protection funds, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I don't need to re-emphasize that we never see the value of money that is going to counties across the country, without exception, Honorable Speaker. I know there are some counties like Homa Bay where we can see good work being done. I know there are counties like Nakuru where we can see good work being done. And there are counties that are messy, Honorable Speaker. There are counties where the Auditor General is telling you, my county in Kiambu, close to R1 billion on roads has gone to waste. Close to another 100 million shillings that was being given as fertilizer and chicks, Honorable Speaker, has been stolen, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't just say this to support women governors, but I can say without any fear of contradiction, our women leaders are doing a great job as governors, and I would urge Kenyans to continue supporting our women leaders. These are great leaders, Honorable Speaker.
You, Honorable Majority Leader, are you done? Okay. Honorable Junet.